Forge. Okay. Items and inventory. About deposit. Okay, deposit is for the bank. Then Mariam, you want to share about inventory and item. Okay. Let me come back. Inventory and items. Company. So do you hear what we need most is to, one, we look at the unit of measures. I told you it depends on what you are dealing in. So I don't expect, let me see, even the petroleum may be having different units of measure. I don't expect water. The company for water that is selling water to have multiple units of measure. For it, it should have just a single unit. Why? Because it is dealing in only liters. So for us, I said that we are dealing in different products, and we need to know which unit of measure are we going to be using. Should we use a single unit of measure per item, or we use multiple? That different products have different units of measure. You will find that you are having some products that are measured in liters, some are measured in numbers, some are measured in boxes. That's why I say multiple units of measure. Then I check this radio button here, this circle here, quantity on hand. When should the system warn me about that I need to stock more inventory? It should warn me on a quantity on hand that I will be setting up. That I'm setting up that if I sell off my product and it has reached a point of where I'm remaining, let me say, with just the 30 bags of sugar, let it warn me there that I need to restock. Then here you can say, okay. Then someone else asking a question here. So please help me and repeat the last part about the post that is under checking, the checking preference. Checking deposit. I told you for the deposit, we are looking at the bank or the account that we'll be using to make deposits. Because some customers will be paying you not in cash, not by check, but some may be taking the money directly to your account. Or is like, I want to send you your money. Where should I put it? So you just give them the account number for your deposit account. If you mix up the deposit account with the pay bills or pay salaries, you may end up not knowing which deposits have you made and which bills have you made, have you paid. So not to mix up, we find different accounts for that. Let's see if I'm moving. Sales tax, okay. Okay, let me go back to sales tax. Sales tax preferences. For sales tax, I told you, remember when we are customizing our system, we said that we shall be paying sales tax. So we need to know, sales tax is just an item. It's like an item that we're dealing in. So we need to capture that item into the system. When you go to a supermarket, I'm talking about supermarkets like the reasonable supermarkets. Let me set up to ShopRite. When you buy something, they charge you sales tax, but that sales tax is included under your item list that you have paid this amount of money, this percentage, all this. Let me say 300 was sales tax. For it, it's like they have sold you sales tax. So we need to capture it. Then we give the sales tax name where I used VAT. I can't put it again because the system won't accept it. Then you need to describe, let me call it VAT. VAT 1. And let me say it is sales, the description, it is sales tax or charged on all then the percentage, let me say I'm charging 2%. Then who is my vendor? I'll still use URA. Then you say okay. Each company has different preferences, not all of them. I told you enter these preferences depending on the company's policies. Not all companies have the same preferences. They are totally different. Then you can say, okay. So I want us to look at what I had planned for today. And today I want us to see how to capture, let me see the users, how to capture users, because you may not be the only one using this system. You are the administrator. You may be having an accountant, a chief accountant. You who has set up the system, you may be different from the accountant, and then even the auditor. Though you may have all the features in one person, that's you, or you may be having them differently. So we want to capture the users. So you come to company, click on company. Under company there is users. How do you capture the users? Users, then set up users and their roles. So I'm already having a user admin, that is me who was just logged in. Then what are my roles? For me, I can do all these. These are my roles. Good. So I need to set up a new user. What I do, I click on new, the username, let me call this a Chief Accounting Officer. Chief Accounting Officer. And I can give this person a password that he will always be using. Let me give him 456. I confirm 456 as his password. Then what are his roles? What does the Chief Accounting Officer do? The Chief Accounting, we just add these to assign roles. They are having available roles and the assigned roles. Am I recording? Yeah. Okay. So you just assign this. You just add. When you click on a role, you add it if you want to. If you want that person to be doing that using the system, like okay, let me repeat. I told you to capture users into your system. Come to company, click on users. Click on users. When you click on users, set up users and their roles. I'm repeating. You set up the users and their roles. This is my user list where I'm having the admin, who was set up or who is the owner of the business, always set up the QuickBooks into the computers of this company. I may not be their accountant. So I just add a new user. And what is the name of this user? It will be the chief accounting officer. Then you give this person a password. Let me say this person's password is 456. Oh, really? My volume is too low. Oh, okay, let me increase it. I need to confirm this password. Need to confirm this password with 456. Then I assign this person the roles. What is this person supposed to do? The accountant is responsible for my accountant, is responsible for the accounts payable. Accounts payable, that's when we are looking at our creditors. Desire, is it fine now? Then accounts payable, those are the creditors. This person is also responsible for the accounts receivable. Those are the debtors. Then this person is responsible for banking. When I receive money, is responsible when the company receives money. This person, now Desire, I think it's your system having a problem. You people, is my volume too low? Because when I look here, the mic shows that I'm speaking too loudly.
It's actually
okay.
It's okay.
Okay. So banking, that means that I've received money or I'm supposed to pay off using check. So this chief accounting officer is also responsible for my banking part. Then external accountant, he can be my external accountant. Let me say I'm having other businesses somewhere else, but I'm using the same system. So this chief accounting officer is also responsible for that. Then finance is responsible for my money that comes in and leaves the business. That is the finance part. So then full access, I can never do this. I never do this. Never give your employee full access to the information of your company. QuickBooks is having all the information about your company. So there are some parts that this person shouldn't be accessing at all. So don't add it there. Then move to inventory. Is responsible for my inventory, knowing which inventory is in place and which one is not in place. Which one is supposed to be brought more and which one is supposed to be left out. Then payroll manager is responsible for paying my employees. I can give him that task too. Then payroll processor is also responsible for processing is also responsible for processing the salaries for his employees. Then purchasing when commodities are done. Okay, let me repeat. So I told you when we are capturing the users of our system, I'm repeating for a friend who wasn't able to hear us. I told you when we are capturing the users, different users, we come to company, then go to users, then set up users and their roles. So I told you I'm having a default user that is the admin, and that is me. Then I need other users, that is the auditor, maybe even the accountant. Different people will be using my system. So I just add a new user here. So I told you my first user will be the chief accounting officer. And I gave him a password of 456. I need to confirm this password. Then after giving him a password, I need to give him the roles he's supposed to do with the system. I add available roles. I'm having accountant, accounts payable. So my chief accounting officer should be my accountant. Then, being my accountant, she should be responsible for my accounts payable or the creditors. Even my accounts receivable, those are my debtors. He should be responsible for the banking, where I deposit money into the bank or where I'm supposed to pay using bank. Is the accountant is also responsible for that. He can also be my external accountant. I'm assuming that I'm having some other businesses, but they are being run by the same, using the same system. Users, there is someone who doesn't understand this part. The users, I told you. Now let me say I come into, let me say you are having a company. Who has asked me this? I think is Adija. Yeah, Adija. Let me say you are having a company and you realize that you know Gerard, who knows something about QuickBooks, who can help you install it and set up the system for you, but is not your accountant. So you tell Gerard, set for me QuickBooks into my system so that I can be using it for my accounting duties. Oh, the assigned roles. Okay. Wait, I'm going to explain that. So you'll be like, Gerard, set for me this system into my computer and also customize my company. And after me adding up, you tell me that you are having your employees and you want those employees to be using the system. You tell me that you're having your own accountant and you also know what he's supposed to do with the system. So you having the accountant, his username is the chief accounting officer, who is responsible for most of your accounting duties. You give that person a password. You give that person a password for the system. Then you are also supposed to assign him the roles he's supposed to do with the system. So these roles are already there. So we just click on a role and we add it on the assigned part. These are the available roles and these are the roles that you are giving to your accountant. So click on the role, like now, external accountant. I told you, I gave you an example that maybe I'm having a certain business somewhere else, but I'm using the same QuickBooks, the same system that is here to manage the other business. So that accountant, the chief accounting officer, can also be my external accountant. You add that role. Finance, this person is responsible for all your money that comes and leaves the business. That is the finance part. You add that. Then full access. I told you never give an employee full access to your system. It's like you are. Sorry for the network. I don't know why it is disturbing me today. So then I told you never allow your employee to have full access. Okay? I take off the full access part. I move to inventory. My accountant should also be responsible for the inventory that is in place and that is out of stock. So I add the inventory part. Payroll manager is responsible. The employee, this accountant is the one responsible for my employees. Is the one who is responsible for paying off these people. So even processing the money that they are supposed to get, because different employees get different amounts of money in the business. Okay. Then purchasing. This accountant, since he's responsible for my inventory, even he's also responsible for purchasing in case my stock is done. I add that. Well, then even sales. It may also be responsible for the sales. In the system, other people are selling off, but they report the sales they have made to the accountant. And that accountant enters the sales into the system. Then he's also responsible for tracking time, because when he tracks time, he can also be able to know which employees need to get money and at which time. Even not just managing the customers, we can get to know which customers are supposed to pay when. Then all that, then there is also view only. Some parts where I can't be having full access, he can only view those parts. He can't do anything to them. He can't edit. He can't make a transaction on them. Then you add that. Then you can say, okay, I have captured a new user called Chief Accounting Officer. Then I need to capture another user. Let me call this an auditor. Yes, I can be having the Chief Accounting Officer, but I need also the auditor to be tracking what the Chief Accounting Officer is doing. So I give this person, let me give him a password of 789. Then I assign him the roles. He can also be my accountant. He can be responsible for the accounts payable, accounts receivable. He can be responsible for banking in case bank statements come in. He needs to know whether the bank statement and the cash book are reconciling. Then he can't be my external accountant. He's not responsible for my finances, payroll, what. Then I give him one more thing to do, view. So the auditor, this person is just supposed to be is the overseer of what the Chief Accounting Officer is doing. So for this person is supposed to know, are these books in line with what is supposed to be done? The accounts payable, have they cleared these credits? Have the debtors paid off our money? Is the bank transactions the correct ones? So I can't give him the loan to purchase for me goods to make sales. So I only take on that. Okay, so I'm already having 3 of the users. The admin, someone who just entered the system. Then I'm having the chief accounting officer who is responsible for most of the parts of my work, and then the auditor who will be checking the books to see whether the accounting officer is doing the right thing. Okay. Then we are having a few minutes to end of our part. So in those few minutes, I want us to take on something else to capture something. So I want us to see how we can capture the customers. Let's see. I think we should capture let me see. I think let's capture some. I want us to capture something that is too much right now. I want us to capture something that is little for now, because we are having a few minutes to close. I think let's capture some inventory, some commodities. Oh, let's capture some ledgers or some accounts. I think they will work out for us since we are having. Yes, I added that person. I added that time tracking to the accountant. Okay, let's capture some ledgers or some charts of accounts. So to capture the chart of accounts, to capture some accounts, we go to account. You can go to accountant. You can go to list where you see chart of accounts, because it's what I want us to capture at the moment. So you come to chart of accounts. You can enlarge this chart of accounts. There are these accounts that are here. There are some accounts that we captured. Okay. If you look into our chart of accounts, we captured some where we have ABSA operating accounts, and even its balances here. You're having Equity Bank, Equity Deposit account, even the balance is there. We are having the Stanbic operating account, even the balance is there. Now I want us to capture some other accounts that are not bank accounts. Now let me say I want us to capture a generator. It's an account. It's a fixed asset. To access the chart of account, Let me come back. I told you go to list and select chart of accounts. When it comes, you enlarge it. Then we want to capture a new account here. Let's say we are having to capture that new account. Come down here where you're seeing my cursor, where there is account. Click on the drop down arrow, then say new. We want to capture a new account. So I want to capture a generator. Generator, where does the generator fall? You need to know the account type for these accounts that you are going to, enter. So a generator, it is a fixed asset. You see, when you select fixed asset, it brings you the things that follow under fixed assets. Generator is under machinery and equipment. So here I can say, okay. Continue, where I will just enter the name of the account, which is generator. Okay, let me repeat. So I told you we want to capture some ledgers or capture some accounts. I told you things in accounting are called accounts or ledgers. Most of the commodities are called ledgers, apart from inventory, but the rest of them are called ledgers. Most of them are called ledgers. So generator is a ledger and it falls under the fixed asset ledger. So it's what I'm working on now. Come, where you see file, edit, view list, every accountant, what? You can come to accountant and look for chart of accounts. Or you can come to list and look for chart of accounts. Even in company, there is also chart of accounts. What I want you is where you find chart of accounts. It's what you can use as long as you can access the chart of accounts. So let me come to accountant. I look for chart of accounts. And I showed you that there are some accounts that we had entered when we are still capturing the preferences. We have entered the bank accounts that we shall be operating with. So those accounts are already here with their amounts, the amounts that we are capturing. Then we want to capture a generator. Come down here to account, click on the drop down arrow and select new. Then what we are entering is a generator. The generator falls under the fixed asset. You click on fixed asset, and when you click there, it will show you the things that follow under fixed assets. We are having building, land, machinery, equipment, and vehicle. Then you can click on continue. Then capture the ledger name, which is generator. Generator. What is the opening balance for this generator? Let me say our opening balance is the 2M. As of when this is now what we are capturing, the opening balances. So this is as of 1st Jan, when our business or when our fiscal year starts. Then you can say save. Then you can say okay. Then save and close. So when I look into my list of accounts, the generator has been captured with its amount. Then I'm having another account. A new account. We add a new account. Let's say our account this time around is let me see. Let's say it's bank charges. Where remember these bank charges, they according to the fiscal year that we are in, we are just starting. That means the bank charges that we are having right now, they are accrued bank charges, and those fall under other current liabilities. Continue. Okay. I say these are accrued bank charges. Accrued bank charges, how much is being demanded? Let me say they are demanding us 400,000 as of when? 1st Jan. Then you can say okay, and then save. Those are accrued. That means those came from the other year to this year. Then but if I'm having expenses, some expenses here where I'll be having rent, charitable contributions, legal fees, office supplies, advertisement, and promotions. Then my account is the advertisement expense. The advertising expense. For this, there is no way I'm going to put the amount. So for it, I'll just save and close. I'll make it a transaction through the journal. Then let's say we are having some land. We capture another asset called land, and land falls under fixed assets. Continue. Then you put in the name. It is land. What is the opening balance of our land? Let's say it is 80 million. As of when? 1st Jan 2021, our land is valued at 80 M. Then here you can say, okay, then save and close. So that is the interface we use to capture different accounts. Then here, I think that is enough for us for today. We are having 4 minutes. We have started beyond time because I always have to give you some 20 minutes for questions and also relaxing your mind. So, any questions for today? Yeah, members, if you haven't registered, please check on the registration.
I didn't pick on.
Pardon?
I didn't pick on advertising expense. Why didn't you set some opening balance or something?
The opening balance.
Yeah, advertising expense.
Okay. Opening balance.
Like, why didn't you set opening balance?
Okay, let me go back to that part. I need to edit some. Edit. Now, not this. So I need to edit where is the advertising expenses here. I need to edit it. So when I come back to advertising expense, I don't have an option where I'll enter the money. So to capture the advertising expenses, we shall use a journal. That's why I said that for this, we need only to capture the name. So tomorrow, I'm having an online lesson, and on Friday, a physical. That's when we shall look at the journal before we move to something else and see how we can capture things using a journal. Please register with your full names, not the nickname.
Does it apply to every expense?
Yes?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Gerard.
Yes, please.
Hello?
Hello, I'm hearing you, Sam.
Does it apply to every expense?
Every what? Every expense.
Like, does it apply to every expense?
Most of the expenses are applied like that.
For example, if you had rent, if you had airtime and stuff,
Yeah.
and it is in the category of expense.
Yeah, you use a journal to capture them, to capture the balance.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what. In my ears.